Every year in the NFL, it's a new team. As far as goals go, we have one. Putting a f***ing ring on our finger.
Welcome to the Buccaneers Observer. This is Ralph Phillips.
I'm Molly Bay.
Today's the day after Christmas, better known as
Victory Monday.
Victory Monday. How about that?
The best Christmas present ever.
we beat the mighty Arizona Cardinals.
We're 4-10, 4-11 now.
Nobody thought we could do it,
including us.
It was a challenge. I mean, I tell you what, a win's a win. Nobody's going to remember that this was a struggle.
Yeah.
Man, we've had 2 overtime games this year. One against Cleveland, the Browns, who we should have won that game. One against the Cardinals. We lost to the 1-win Pittsburgh Steelers, the 1-win Carolina Panthers. You know, this team's not playing the way they should.
But we're still in the playoff race, which is just outrageous.
Oh, my gosh. Big game next week. We got to play the Carolina Panthers. We got to win. I mean, technically, we don't have to win, I don't think. I think we could lose to them and then win against Atlanta. And then if they lose, I don't know.
Yeah.
But
so if we lose next week, our playoff chances are not in our hands. But if we win next week, I think we got it.
Yes, if we win next week, we wrap it up. Done. I don't even know if we'll play our starters against Atlanta if we win next week.
I just hate those playoff calculations where it's like not in your hands.
Oh, yeah. We got to win. We want to win against the Panthers. I mean, we want to win every game. But some games matter more than other games, and winning against the Panthers is the goal.
I just want a redemption for the last game.
God, no. What was it, 21-3?
Yeah, something.
Yeesh.
I'd even forgotten about the score. I just knew that we lost, so.
Yeah, well, you know, they played Dallas last week.
Did they play Dallas? You said that. I don't think that's right. Detroit.
No, they played Detroit Sunday or Saturday. But then week 15, they got stomped by Dallas, right?
I don't think so. I don't know. You're more up on it than
Pittsburgh. So Pittsburgh beat them 24-16.
Pittsburgh is 4-0 against the NFC South. Like, they probably have 6 wins. 4 of them came against us.
We're just not a very good division. Man. So we squeaked the win by with the Cardinals, and it was so frustrating. It was a horrible game to watch. And there's been a lot of that this year where you just, and we got to remember, this is entertainment. And they just don't make me feel good. You can ask Molly, the whole game, I'm just sitting there going, this sucks. This just sucks. Yeah.
I mean, how do you go to overtime with the Arizona Cardinals? With their third string quarterback, which, I mean, for any other team, but I mean, the Buccaneers, you get it. We've grown to expect it. A third string quarterback, they always give us trouble. Trace McSorley was not Brock Purdy.
No.
So there's that. But just not what we wanted to see. No,
you want to see us a fine oiled machine out there, just throwing up points, playing good defense, blah, blah, blah. But it just hasn't happened this year. I think our best game has been in Seattle, or against Seattle in Munich. We played tough, physical, kind of mistake-free. We tackled. We didn't miss a single tackle. That was one of the big things with Arizona yesterday. Just our tackling was atrocious.
I can't tell. I lost count of the number of times we had the runner or receiver behind the line of scrimmage, and it was just that we overshot it.
Yeah.
There was a return where McCullum was down there. Right there.
Yeah.
Totally missed the guy. It's very frustrating.
It's very frustrating. That 22-yard run by James Conner. I don't think a single person touched him. And there was like 4 guys that could have tackled him.
Yeah.
It is annoying. It is annoying. And we're like that in all phases of the game. We're just not playing good football.
I'll tell you what's most frustrating for me is the third downs.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, for years, ever since Cutter, we could have a 3rd and 13 and you were confident they were going to get it. I mean, we've been good on third downs for years. Mm-hmm. And this year, it's like a 3rd and 2. Yeah. It's scary.
It's embarrassing. They were even commenting on it. I mean, we had like a 2-and-1, didn't get that. 3rd and 1.
Oh, that's right.
Didn't get that.
At 3 tries.
And then we went for it on the 4th down, still didn't get it. And you're like, how many chances do you need to get a yard?
Right. Apparently, a lot.
Apparently. But we're talking like this was not a win.
I know. We should be happy about it. And I am happy. But at the same time, man, I'm just like, it was the Arizona Cardinals, probably bottom 3 worst teams in the league.
Yeah, I mean, they're eliminated from playoffs. They're bottom of their division. Before Kyler Murray got hurt, they were a dumpster fire then, too. I mean, there were all these questions about Kyler Murray and Cliff Kingsbury. And so, yeah, it was not, even with their starting quarterback, it was not a high caliber team.
I think they played better with McSorley than they did with Kyler Murray. I don't see how Kingsbury keeps his job. I think he's done at the end of the year. Denver Broncos, they fired their coach today.
Yeah.
Everybody saw that coming. I figured it'd be at the end of the year, but yeah.
Yeah. They've just been... Oh, well, that game yesterday against the Rams, what was it?
It was horrible.
51-14.
Yeah, man, the Rams just beat up on them. That's the Rams. Mm-hmm. They're the second worst team in the league.
Right. They might be a little bit worse or better than the Cardinals.
I would say
a little better, maybe.
I don't know. It's a toss up between those two. The Texans are definitely the worst. Although they put up a fight a lot, but they're just a bad team. It's weird with Lovie Smith. It's like he came in and got us the first pick in the draft. Mm-hmm. It's when we got Jameis Winston. And I hated those years. Those years were miserable. It was just bad football. And there was a long stretch of just bad football. But the Lovie Smith years were just atrocious. And then he goes, and he's at Texans, and he's giving them the first pick in the draft. Mm-hmm. So you have to think, what is that? This guy's MO? Is that what he does?
You bring him in.
Yeah, you bring him in when you want the first pick in the draft, because he did throw games with the Buccaneers. Was it against the Falcons or the Saints? Can't remember. He pulled out all the starters, and he was like, we just want to see what we got. And then had some plays where they were definitely throwing the game. But, it's like, is that Lovie Smith's shtick now? He's the guy that's
who gets you draft picks.
Yeah, he has no ego. It's like,
there's no bottom.
I'll lose every game I can.
Well, they did beat Tennessee this week.
The Texans did?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So they got 2 wins now?
Yeah. So I think that's how Jacksonville is leading the division now, because Tennessee was kind of like us. Like, they were 1 game up on us, I think. They were 7-8 and just lost to the Texans. So then that. In Jacksonville, they're on a hot streak. So they're up there. They're at the top of the division now. They're fighting for playoffs.
Man, what a weird year. Weird year. And Carolina beat Detroit. The Saints beat... Who did they play? Hold on one second.
Oh, my gosh. Cleveland.
Saints
at Cleveland. And it was so cold there.
So cold.
Snow. Yeah. It was like -5 wind chill.
We watched all these games, but I can't remember. We had Red Zone on. Yeah. And Red Zone's just like a blur.
Yeah, I don't feel like I really get the sense
No.
of the game.
Not at all.
It's just the touchdowns, just the highlights.
It's like all excitement. The
Yeah.
whole game, the whole 3.5, 4 hours, because it's just touchdowns.
OD on that dopamine.
Yeah, so the Arizona game, I counted 8 3-and-outs, I think, in that game.
Oh my gosh.
Between both teams. It just was not a lot of entertainment value.
Mm-mm.
We were invested, of course, because and we were just kind of sitting there the whole time going, what are we doing? This is horrible. We couldn't do anything. We had Lenny did good.
Yeah, he had a good game.
I don't know what is going on between Brady and Mike Evans, but good Lord.
With Lenny, Collinsworth was saying that Lenny lost his job to Rashad White. And I'm like, I don't really.
Yeah, I think Rashad was a starter for a couple games.
I know, but like in our system, that doesn't really matter. I don't feel like.
It does to Lenny.
I guess. But he did have a good game. I mean,
72
yards rushing and then 90 receiving. He was our leading receiver.
Yeah. So that's 162 yards total. Not bad.
Still struggled on third down.
Yeah. And that 40-yard run he had in the fourth quarter set up the tying field goal.
Mm-hmm.
It was a field goal we got to tie it up in overtime. That was good. You got to give Suck Up credit. He played great. Made all his kicks.
Mm-hmm.
I think the play that kind of turned the game around wasn't anything we did. It was when McSorley pitched the ball and hit Connor in the face with the football on the pitch, and it bounced and landed right in Golston's arms.
Yeah.
He was on the ground.
He was ready. Could nobody else get that ball?
But I mean, he wasn't. He didn't make a play. The ball bounced right into his arm because he had already gotten whooped and was on the ground. So, that was one of those.
Well,
it had nothing to do with us. That play, the ball bounced our way. They screwed up, and
we got it
right. But we need that. We haven't gotten a lot of that this year at all.
No,
just the ball bouncing our way. It was kind of a penalty-free game. There wasn't that many penalties.
You know why?
Because Donovan Smith wasn't in there. Oh, that.
I feel bad. Like, Donovan, we love you. Can't wait for him to come back because we lost Josh Wells.
Josh Wells, man. He's been playing so good this year.
What's the injury? A patella tendon?
Yes, torn patella tendon. He's out.
Got to get surgery. He's done.
Yeah, might be the end of his career. I mean, a backup getting a torn patella tendon. It's going to be a struggle to come back.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Don't know. But it is a shame because he was playing very well. Especially. So I'm going to say this probably forever, but that he did not get praise. Playing against the Bengal or the.
The Bengals. Or Bosa,
the 49ers. Just he dominated Bosa in that game and didn't get a single lick of credit at all. And it was the most awe-inspiring offensive performance I've ever seen. Because I really did think going into that game that he was going to just get trounced.
Yeah. And
it was the exact opposite. He just beat the crap out of Bosa. So, it's sad to see him go down. I was like, man. And then we put Walton in. And he seemed to play pretty well. I mean, he did immediately get beat, but it was really Leverett didn't help him. You could see Walton was pushing his guy over towards Leverett, and Leverett was moving towards Hainsey. So it was just a miscommunication issue there, but they seemed to get it straightened out real quick. I have to look on the All-22 and see how those guys performed. But you know what, man? I am so sick of these announcers. I really am. They're so full of crap.
Oh, my gosh.
They sit there and they complain about our offensive line. They were like, well, one of the reasons why the Buccaneers hasn't done so well is because of their offensive line. Our offensive line has played good. It has not been a disaster, that's for sure. I wouldn't say they've been the best in the league. They're not bad. I'd give them a B,
Yeah.
And they're definitely not the reason why we're losing. Not by any stretch of the imagination. But then now to say that, and then the whole the whole play action and pre-snap movement. Oh my God! If I hear this anymore, I'm going to throw up. Tony Romo wasn't last year when we were playing Dallas. He spouted that crap off, and I was like, "What in the world is he talking about?" So I did a whole video that said Tony Romo's lying. We do pre-snap movement, and I thought I pretty much proved my point. It's really easy to prove. And it's the same thing with play action. And now they're talking about, it's play action and pre-snap movement. And I'm like, we do that crap all the time. What are y'all talking about? It's just, they make this stuff out of thin air and then everybody runs with it. All of Tampa media, all the national media, you can't, anytime anybody talks about it, even Scott Smith, the media reporter for the Buccaneers, did a whole article on it. And he used stats that I can't find. He said, according to the NFL's, what's it called? The NFL stats, where they do, oh my gosh, I can't remember. But I couldn't find them. I don't know where he got those stats from. And it's one of those things, like play action and that stuff is kind of like penalties. Penalties don't tell you the story. If that was the case, we've argued about this, or I've made this case on here all the time. Some penalties are worse than other penalties. And if you get a bunch of penalties, you got to look at them in context. Are they bad penalties? Do they hurt? Because, you get penalties all the time for delay of game because you want to move the punt back, or, you get penalties for 12 men on the field, on the defense when it's, 1st and 20. It doesn't matter. A lot of penalties don't matter. And you got to look at, are they undisciplined penalties? Are they mental error penalties? Are they intentional penalties? All that good stuff. If it was so easy to go, penalties are what's killing this team, then you could just look at the records of the teams and you go, all the teams at the top are going to be least penalized. All the teams at the bottom will be most penalized. And it's never, ever that way, ever. So with the whole play action stuff, that just annoys me so bad, because there's a lot of things that goes with play action. You can't do play action all the time. If you do play action all the time, the defense is just going to ignore it. It's like crying wolf. It's much better to be judicious with your play action. You want to fool them. That's the reason why you do play action. It does kind of freeze the linebackers a little bit, but a lot of times that does not matter whatsoever. If you're throwing to the outside, it doesn't matter if the linebackers are freezing or not. At all. The only time you really want to freeze the linebackers is if you're going to throw in the middle. It's just insane how everybody has placed all this stuff, all this in the pre-snap movement. We do a ton of it. Tony Romo is just flat out lying about that.
Well, I just don't think he knows. I think he's just talking out of his ass. And he brought it up last year. Seemed like a good talking point. And he just stuck with it. And I think, like, coming from a quarterback, too, like, that's his bias.
Mm-hmm.
It was probably pushed on him by a coach at one point.
Yeah. Hey,
use some pre-snap motion.
Yes.
Use play action.
But it's a cascade effect, because that's one thing about journalists. Journalists pay attention to what other journalists say, and then they just echo it. Mm-hmm. They never go against other journalists. And, since Tony Romo is kind of high up in the hierarchy, he's a national broadcaster, whatever he says, everybody's just going to go along with it. And man, I swear to God, they were asking questions in the press conferences about it. It's like every article I've seen written on it, and it's complete bullcrap. But because let me ask you this, the Bengals won. Does anybody know how many times the Bengals did play action?
No.
No, you don't hear that talked about at all. How much pre-snap movement did they have? You don't hear about it, And there's a lot of stuff that goes with a play action that is nobody ever considers. Because, in play action, the quarterback's got to turn around. He has his back to the defense, So if somebody gets free, he doesn't know about it until he turns around, and generally they get clobbered when that happens. It's just, and like I said, if you do it too often, defenses just start to ignore it.
Or if you're not good at it.
Yes.
Like if you're just throwing it in it.
Yeah, Tom Brady, he just kind of goes through the motions. He's not like RG3 was and all these guys that really put a lot of time into making play action as tricky as possible. And, when you've got your back to the defense, now there's two different types of play action, and I think this is where the stats are getting screwed, because a lot of teams are doing these RPOs, and they're probably counting that as play action, and that's not play action, because you're facing the defense and you're holding the ball out, and you're deciding whether to hand the ball off or throw the ball, depending on what the defense is doing. That's not play action. That's an RPO. Two totally different things. And,
what's the distinction? Like, what would you say the difference? Like, is play action that you're faking it? And the RPO is that you have the option to do either one?
Right. That's what I'm saying. I think they're conflating the two. Play action has always been when you turn around and you go to hand the ball to the running back and you make them think it's a running play.
But you fake it.
Okay. An RPO, you don't turn around. You just stick your arm out like this. You read the defense, and the running back comes up, and you decide whether to pull it or not. A play action is designed to be a fake. An RPO is designed to see what the defense is doing and then either hand it off or throw it, depending on that. And I think all these play action stats are getting skewed because so many teams are doing RPOs and they're calling that play action. I mean, technically you could say it might be play action, but to me, play action is you turn around, you fake like you're handing the ball off. It's designed to play. And
it's the fake part of it that makes it play action.
Well, to me, it's the turning around.
Okay.
It's the big difference between an RPO and play action is the quarterback has his back to the defense. And one of the reasons that's kind of dangerous, it has negatives to it as well as positives, is, besides the fact that, if somebody does break through the line quickly, you can't see them coming. I mean, you've seen it 1,000 times where the quarterback, does play action, and about the time he turns around, there's a defensive player in his face and he just gets clobbered. But the quarterback can't read the defense when he's doing play action. He's got his back turned to the defense. So he has to turn around and take a few seconds to absorb what's going on and see where to throw the ball. So there's cons to play action. It's not the end-all, be-all. And the way everybody's talking about it is like they found the elixir to the Buccaneers' problems is we need to run more play action. It's just as silly as, I don't know. It's just...
I know. What is play action going to do on third down? What is play action going to do with our inability to score?
Right. And, everybody talks about it. You even heard it in the broadcast last night, which I found hilarious. They talk about, Brady's a master at the hurry-up offense, and they need to do that more often and everything. And I'm like, make up your minds, because on the hurry-up offense, do you know what you don't do? You don't have pre-snap motion, and you don't do play action. It's like, so which one is it? I don't know. I think everybody's just scrambling, trying to figure out why this team isn't hitting on all cylinders, and they're coming up with any excuse they can. I think it's a whole bunch of things. It's like, when I was watching the all 22 for the last game against the Bengals, I put out the Tiffy video, and I was like, strange is the word of the day. It was a very strange game. We played very strangely. Poorly. It was a very, I can't express it in any other way than saying strange. there's just a lot of strange things happen. And even the Bengals were playing strange in the sense that they weren't out there really trying to beat us. It looked like they went, hold on, this team is shooting themselves in the foot. They're playing very strangely. Let's just not make mistakes and sit back and let them beat themselves. And that's how the Bengals played. And
we did.
And we did.
We had the turnovers, which was very uncharacteristic of Tom Brady.
So much happened in that game that was just so strange. Like I pointed it out in the Tiffy video, a few things, but one of the things that really stood out to me was kind of like encapsulated the whole game for us was we ran a play, white handoff straight up the middle. And there was a hole open there. It was a good 4 yards wide. I mean, it was a huge hole for him to run into. And he was running straight for it. And then for no reason whatsoever, he cut to the right, but he stumbled and he ended up running right into the offensive line. And now, mind you, while this is all going on, there's a huge hole right in front of him. Mm-hmm. And then he bounces off of that and shoots around to the left tackle. And I was just like, what is that all? It didn't make any sense at all. Why would you choose that? What? I mean, he was running straight for the hole and then bounced over into the offensive lineman, actually ran into him. He stumbled into him, bounced off of them, and then took a shot between the tackle and the guard. Very, very strange. But that's how that whole game was. It was just like we're playing in a daze. A lot of weird stuff going on. The linebackers were playing weird. I pointed out a couple of times how Devin White actually got in the way of Levante David making tackles. And then at one point they were literally on top of each other when the ball was snapped. And the Bengals scored a touchdown there, and it was almost like they just went, well, I'm just going to toss this ball over here 5 yards, and that guy's just going to walk in because they're running into each other and everybody's confused and doesn't know what's going on. And the whole game was like that. The whole game. Everybody was out of sync and there was just weird stuff going on. It's very strange. We've seen a lot of that this year where, we're just not on the same page. We're making simple mistakes, simple mental errors. We're not playing fundamental football. Our tackling is bad. We're dropping passes that are 100% touchdowns right in your hand. Tom Brady's making a lot of bad decisions. He's not seeing open receivers. Like in that game yesterday, I'm going to have to look back on all 22, but he threw on a 3rd and 2. He threw it to Mike Evans. It was almost intercepted. And I swear, over on the right, Godwin was wide open. There wasn't anybody covering him. So you're just like, that's not Tom Brady. It's like nobody's playing right. Nobody's playing like they normally do. It's weird. It's strange. But we got the win yesterday. So hopefully, and here's what everybody's hoping. This team is going to start clicking. We've been waiting for it all year.
Every game.
Like,
all right, this is the one where we're firing on all cylinders.
And generally we'll have 2 or 3 drives that you go, yes, this is the Buccaneers. Yeah. And then we just screw the pooch after that. So hopefully what I'm hoping is we play against the Panthers and we play well, and then we just continue that throughout the playoffs. That's my hope, that we just get it together.
Or maybe they're just saving it for the playoffs. Maybe if they just want to squeak in, it's all intentional, guys.
It's all 4D chess, man. Oh my gosh. But yeah, Fournette had a great day. He was playing. His running style has changed so much.
I know. That's what I don't understand.
Yeah.
It's just everything. I don't understand a lot of things about this team, but he's one of them. Yeah. He's one of them. Where I'm like, you are on fire.
Yeah.
You got this contract that we don't normally give.
Right.
3-year contract. You look like you were in a position to be the bell cow. And it just, and really, I feel, and I don't have any data to back this up, and you might contradict me later, or someone in the audience might contradict me. I feel like he's one of the worst on third downs.
Yeah.
He gets the ball on third down, third and short, and I just cringe.
Yes.
Because I'm like, no, what? Stop it. I'd rather throw it, honestly, on 3rd and 2.
I hate third downs now. I don't really want to get in third downs.
I know.
And it's so weird, like we were saying, for the past few years, ever since Cutter was here, so it's been 5-6 years, we just dominated third downs. And this year, third downs is scary.
I know.
I have no
faith. 3rd and short.
3rd and inches, I get worried. Yeah, and if you watch Leonard Fournette, he's started to where he's taking these little choppy steps now. He doesn't take long strides. If you watch him, and he's running very straight up. I think that they've definitely coached him into running differently, because he's running a lot differently this year than he has been the past couple of years.
Even from the beginning of the season.
Yeah, from the beginning of the season.
Like, I felt like he was fine, and then, 3 or 4 games in, he just... I don't know.
He's definitely gotten to where he's not, and we've talked about this quite a bit, where he doesn't try to avoid tackles.
Yeah.
He tries to run people over.
Which he was very successful at early in the season. Remember, Micah Parsons got all mad at him because he was getting chucked by the running back, which is embarrassing for a linebacker. And, it was like after that, did they talk to him, the coaching staff, and we're like, stop doing that?
I don't know.
Did the league talk to him? You're hitting too hard.
Stop being so aggressive. Oh, man. Yeah, I don't know, man. Tom is definitely not playing like Tom. He's not doing the Brady stuff. He's not making the very precise throws, the great decision making. He's getting the ball out of his hands quick, but he's not. The decision making is not.
Yeah, I would say that's the biggest.
Yeah,
the biggest problem. Him and Mike's connection.
It's just
is
garbage. Garbage.
And I don't know. Was there an issue at some point?
Don't know.
Like what?
Right. Yeah. Is this another Jameis Winston, Deshaun Jackson issue? I don't think so.
I don't know either. It was not great last night.
No. Matter of fact, I was yelling, stop throwing it to Mike.
Yeah.
Just stop. They know it's coming to him, and they were cutting in front of it. And, the interceptions and that's another thing. It's one thing about this team is I don't see guys trying to make plays, really going all out and trying to make plays. Like you see that interception that the Cardinals did. A guy jumped 8 feet in the air, batted that ball one-handed, caught it, and then landed on his back. You don't ever see our guys doing that. It's like they're sacrificing themselves to make plays, and our guys don't do that. It's annoying. Mm-hmm. And we've got this mentality of injury, I feel. I feel that, we've had that for a while. Yeah, I feel like, a lot of times we play to not get injured. And it's not working because we get a lot of injuries. It's something I want somebody to look into one day, with all this focus on injuries in the NFL. Has it gotten any better?
Mm-mm.
I don't think so. I think it's gotten worse.
Yeah, and I think it's smaller injuries that guys are not.
Mm-hmm.
The league is definitely much softer than it used to be.
Oh yeah. But yeah. Now you get a little twinge or a stinger or something like that. You get out, you go into the tent and all that good stuff. I mean, it used to be people would be proud to play through injuries and stuff. It's like JPP. JPP out there with a broken neck, half a hand, a busted rotator cuff, and he's still out there playing. You couldn't get him off the field.
Yeah.
You just don't see that anymore.
Mm-mm.
Or very rarely. Very rarely. So, and we have the Advent Training Center. That's our practice area. The Tampa Stadium and One Buck Place is surrounded by medical communities. So, these guys are constantly thinking about injuries. They got, injury is in their face all the time. So whatever you focus on becomes reality.
Mm-hmm.
Just checking. Somebody slammed our front door. Kids, we got a bunch of kids over, so it's Christmas. They're running from house to house playing with each other's Christmas toys. Keyshawn Vaughn did get a carry.
I know.
Haven't seen him hardly at all this year.
I know. He looked good. He had a good run, I thought. 6 yards. I thought, the one person I am impressed with on the Buccaneers is Keanu Neal. I like him. I feel like he does play hard.
Yeah. 22.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
He plays hard. He makes mistakes every now and then, but he's out there trying, putting a lot of effort into it. He tackles well, generally. So.
Oh, what do you think about we had a good number of screens, but they were successful.
Yeah, we did. I'm going to have to count them up and see how many we did, but I just hate those damn things anymore. But like you said, they've been working now.
Well, it worked against Arizona. Let's just say that. Right.
Yeah, we got to remember, Arizona is not a good team.
Yeah. So that was funny. We had quite a few that worked out. So.
Yes. Carlton Davis, the interception, he should have had that. I mean, it hit him right in the numbers. But then that's why, he's on defense. He's got feet for hands. And it's just so annoying. We rarely get interceptions. And then when you get one thrown right at you and you drop it.
And that was a thing too at the beginning. I just feel so lied to by this team. In training camp, all the defensive backs are like, "Hey, our goal is 30 interceptions this season." How many do they have? And they went an 8-game streak without any. I don't know if it was 8, but it was a lot. And it's like they did pretty good the first few games and then just gave up. They're like, I mean, it was a goal, but we don't have to do it.
Yes, and it's the same thing with the running attack, where they said they were going to focus on running. They wanted to run the ball. All that. So everything they focused on, they've sucked at.
Do you think with the running, I mean, could that be the offensive line though?
Yeah. It's our blocking. We run a lot out of these bunch formations or jumbo packages or whatever. We've always got an extra tight end or O'Keefe or whatever, and our guys are not. It's kind of like with tackling. We're not the best tacklers in the world. It's like we don't focus on tackling. We're always. That's how I feel with this team. It's kind of like the coaches are a bunch of clipboard carriers. It's more about the scheme than it is the fundamentals. So, they don't, it doesn't seem like they practice tackling. It's like they don't practice special teams. They don't practice blocking so much, just getting really, really good at it. And when we have, 6 or 7 guys blocking for run, one of them's going to screw up. One of them's going to get beat. And it's always that guy who beats that guy is the one that ends up making the tackle. So it would be better if we only stuck to the 5 blockers up front and run with those guys, because it's just less people to make a mistake. But when we got 7, 8 guys blocking, somebody's going to screw up, and it just We just don't seem to focus on the fundamentals and stuff like that. It's always easy. If you watch, we do a lot of movement on our offensive line for run blocking. We do all kinds of pulling and crashing and all this stuff. And it's like they're more focused on that. The play itself. What's it called?
The scheme.
The scheme, yeah. The scheme's more important than the actual execution.
Yeah.
The actual blocking. So, I feel like, and I think that works on the defense too, because we run an extremely complicated defense. I mean, we run every type of defense you could think of, and Todd Bowles is always throwing some new stuff in there. Like we had to play against the Cardinals where we had the whole defensive line was like 3 yards off the ball at one point.
The announcers even commented on it.
Yeah, it was very strange. I thought it was cool. But, we're always doing stuff like that. And we have very complex defense, and too complex at times, I think. And we don't focus on tackling. Tackling seems to be an afterthought with these coaches. Well, they have been ever since Arians has gotten here. We've had bad tackling before, Mike Smith's tackling. But, it's just, to me, football is all about blocking and tackling. And if you can't do those things, it doesn't matter how good your scheme is.
Yeah.
And I think we're that's where we're at.
Another person I think did not have a great game last night was Cade Otton. I was really disappointed.
Yeah, very disappointed. I think he had like 10 targets or something.
Yeah,
7.
like the drops, and then I think he had a costly penalty at one point, and it was just not his best showing.
Mm-mm. No, and the Cardinals have horrible. They're like the worst in the league for tight end defense.
Come on.
Yeah. So, that was he had a chance to shine there. Russell Gage is really the wide receiver that shined. Chris Godwin did pretty good.
Where was Cameron Brate? Like, he did not.
No,
I think he had like one target, right?
He's been like a non-factor this year. Well, but worse than him was Kyle Rudolph.
Yeah.
That guy's been complete.
And there was, I think Walton got called for a false start, but I think it actually should have been on Kyle Rudolph. Because, Kyle was on the other side of Walton, and it was that one where J.J. Watt got him to move, like he switched his arms. Yeah. I think it should have been on Rudolph. Yeah, you could have called either one, I guess. But can we talk real quick about J.J. Watt's baby?
Oh, yeah. That's a big baby.
There's a giant baby. Like, he made J.J. Watt look like a normal-sized person.
That was a big baby. And how old was that baby?
Like 2 months old.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was like, man, that looks like a 1-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big baby.
That was a giant baby.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right. Julio, that pass in the end zone.
Yeah.
That he didn't even try.
Yeah.
He would have had it.
Yeah.
I don't know if he didn't know it was coming to him. He just had to put his arms out.
He was wide open there. That was a touchdown all day.
Yeah. Well, and it looked like his footing was kind of off, like he was kind of mid-fall, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He's been kind of a disappointment this year, too. Everybody has been, yes. All of our free agents. Russell Gage has, showed up in a few games.
Oh, my God, that hit that he had in this
Oh, God,
game.
yeah. The second one was even worse.
Yeah.
He got bent back. I was like, man,
he's
going to be on the injury report.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A back injury, probably.
Yes. But, you look at Akeem Hicks. Mm-hmm. Not really been a factor. He was injured for a large part of the year. Julio Jones, injured for a large part of the year. Hasn't really been a factor. Russell Gage, he's on and off. I think he's had 2-3 games that he's been a difference maker for us. Gosh. I just feel like our free agency this year has not been well. But then again, it's just the whole team is just sucked.
Mm-hmm.
Not really suck. But
it's off. We're off.
Average.
Why are we so off?
Yeah.
What is going on?
Yes. You got to lay it at the hands of the feet of the coach. To me, there's to have such a huge shift in playing and it being pervasive across the whole team. It's not just the defense that's sucking, or it's not just a group, the tight ends or the wide receivers. It's the whole team.
Yeah. What do you think about, we touched on this before, Brady pushing Bruce Arians out? Is everyone pissed about that? Is that what it is? I mean, I don't really know how, credible the rumors are.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. The defensive guys swore up and down they love Todd Bowles.
I know.
And they all seemed excited that the rest of the team is going to get to see how great of a person Todd Bowles is and everything. I don't know. Maybe he came in and he wanted to change too much. I don't know.
But what's changed?
Well, we're definitely more horizontal in our offense than we are vertical. We're doing a lot more of these, passes in the flats, or these screen passes, or these dumps over the middle, instead of going vertical downfield. We did against Cincinnati, first half of Cincinnati. We played a vertical game. That was the difference. But then again, the beginning of the year, we were trying to do vertical, and our wide receivers and Brady were just so out of sync, it messed us up. So I don't know. I do not know. Maybe it's just philosophy or the general coaching styles or whatever.
Attitude.
Yes. I'm not a big fan of stoic coaches. Just not. Yeah. I miss Arians.
I know.
I miss his press conferences. They were great.
They need to let him back on the sideline.
Yeah. And with Bruce Arians, you've got the book. You've got him on. Anytime somebody put a microphone in his face, he never met a microphone he didn't like. He was on podcasts. He was on TV shows. He was on the ESPN and NFL Network. And, he did press conferences that were long, and he talked not in coach speak. He would literally tell you what he was thinking and what was going on and who he was upset with or who played well or whatever. So, there was a lot of information to take in with Bruce Arians. He really lays everything out there. With Todd Bowles, you're going to get nothing. We don't know anything that this guy's thinking. Mm-hmm. He says the same thing every time. It's like, we got to coach better, we got to play better, we got to execute. We got to.
It's all coach speak.
Yeah, it's all coach speak. We don't have any books. We don't have any appearances on any radio stations or podcasts or nothing. I think he's been on a couple podcasts. But again, not a whole lot of information going on there. So it's hard to tell what the heck's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know. What do you think?
I think it's Brady.
Yeah.
I think it's just when you have personal problems like he's got, it's just messes with your head, and it's they always say, like, never meet your heroes.
Yeah.
And the whole team has just revered him. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, all these people, and
yeah, because you got to figure he comes in the first year when they win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, and plus he kind of gets like special treatment.
Yes, he definitely did this year.
Mm-hmm. In training camp and all that. So, I think probably, I know, like, in my own personal life, I have known people who dissolved a 20+ year marriage, and they were both just train wrecks, and you didn't want to be. So I just think it's he's not in a great headspace, and I think that can be contagious and toxic.
Yeah.
To other people, to whoever's around you. So
yeah, I think that's a large factor too.
And I think no one's really stepped up to fill the void.
Right, exactly.
Which includes coaches.
That's something I do feel with this team in general. It's like everybody's expecting somebody else to make a play.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And we got a lot of skilled players. We got a lot of really good players on this team, but it doesn't seem like any of them are stepping up to say, I'm going to take over this team. I'm going to take over this game. I'm going to make the play, blah, blah, blah. You know, we don't seem to have any leaders.
Yeah. Or like enthusiasm or, we just need like one rah-rah guy.
Yeah.
Like,
JPP, please come back.
I know. Gronk. Whatever. Did you hear Gronk called Todd Bowles about a month ago about maybe possibly coming back, and at the end of the conversation decided he was better off retired.
Yeah.
So that doesn't instill confidence. Yeah. I don't know what does. You know, it's just...
Yeah, Todd Bowles did not make a very good case.
No. So, I mean, I hope we get it together. We got 2 games. Division opponents, they're hard games. It will be nice to get retribution against Carolina and play well. Not just get retribution, but play well, show why we deserve to be in the playoffs over them.
Yes. I'm going to have to rewatch that Carolina game where they whooped us 21-3. Watching them play against Detroit, basically all they did is just ran the ball. Detroit just absolutely horrible at tackling. They couldn't stop them for nothing.
I feel like that was our problem against
It probably was, yeah. But Detroit didn't even look like they were trying on defense to tackle. So, you know, I don't know how much of that was Detroit going meh, or Carolina just having a good game plan and being more physical with them. Don't know. So I have to watch both of them. I got a lot of analyzing to do for this game coming up, man, because it's going to be interesting. Interesting.
Please get it together. I mean, like, do they want to go to the playoffs?
Right. Yeah.
Do they want to be there?
Do they want to?
Do they want it?
Right.
We're going to see. I think we ask that every week.
Yeah.
We did want it yesterday.
Kind of. You know, if they wouldn't have given it to us on that fumble. Because, you know, they were marching down the field to score.
Yeah. With
only a few minutes left, and that would have been game over. Yeah. So if it wasn't for that bad pitch, hit him right in the face. And then bounced right into Golston's hands as he was laying on the ground. Things just worked out our way. And then we were like, hey, we can possibly win this.
We can win.
What do y'all guys think about trying now? But with the Carolina Panthers, this is the first game all year long that I feel like actually means something. You know, we've been saying it all year. I've been going, well, this game doesn't mean anything. You know, it was an AFC team. We're still leading the conference or the division. You know, this game doesn't matter. You know, and then the next week it's the same thing. It's like, well, this game doesn't matter. Everybody in our division lost. We don't need to win this game. It's an AFC game. You know, just every week it's been something like that. This is the first week coming up that I can recall where you go, this game matters. Mm-hmm. This game matters a lot. This is all the marbles, actually. We're starting our playoffs next week, Sunday. Yeah.
That's scary.
Yeah, it is. Hopefully they're dead serious and they want to win this.
Our team, not Carolina.
Yeah, not Carolina. Well, you know, they want to win it because, you know, that coach, he's wanting to keep that job probably. All of his players want him to stay there. So they know if they win this game, chances are really good he's going to stay there. Mm-hmm. I think he's going to stay there anyhow.
Yeah, why not? I think he's made a good case for himself.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah. Just in the sense that team could have quit. They had every excuse in the world to quit. And I thought they were going to.
Me too.
But we
underestimated.
Yeah. I thought they were going to be bottom of the league, man. I thought they were going to be picking way up there.
Yeah.
Top 5. Top 3, actually, I thought. But, nope. I don't even know. Do they even have... They got first-round picks. They got a bunch of them because they got it from San Francisco, right? Mm-hmm. Ugh. Well, whatever. I ain't scared of no kittens, man.
Me neither. I mean, we can win it if we're trying and
Yeah, then we can beat anybody
Mm-hmm.
if we come out there and just play mistake-free football.
Mm-hmm.
It's just been our thing. We beat ourselves every game. I would say the 49ers and the Baltimore game are the only two games that I go, they beat us.
Mm-hmm.
Those two teams beat us. The rest of the losses, it's been us beating ourselves.
Yeah.
Especially that Cincinnati game. Good Lord.
Yeah. I mean, you can't throw that many interceptions, turnovers, and we learned that with Jameis Winston.
Yes. Yeah, that was Jameis Winston football.
Mm-hmm.
The Bengals game.
Mm-hmm.
So, don't want that anymore. Although it's exciting.
It has that one was not.
That one was
exciting.
not.
That lacked the oomph of a Jameis Winston game.
Yeah, well, it's because you don't get that crazy running around and silly throws and
Yeah, that's the thing about Tom is like he's the same if he throws a touchdown as he is if he throws an interception. Like it's the same thing going on. He's just getting off the field.
I don't know. I've seen this year much more of a defeatist look in him and body posture and everything. Where he'll just kind of slouch over and slump off the field. But it is what it is. Let's just make it to the playoffs. We'll go from there.
Yeah.
Got to win this game Sunday.
Next week, yeah.
All right, guys. That's about going to wrap it up for us. We're going to try to get another podcast out before the game and do some analyzing of the Carolina Panthers so we can tell you what we think is going to happen.
Hopefully, Molly's struggling these days, so we'll see.
Well, Molly's pregnant and she's got plenty on her mind. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for us. Till next time.
Go Bucs.